The President Muhammad Buhari has ordered security agencies to go after those inciting hatred and speech, and split of the country.
According to the President, security operatives should find and bring to book people threatening the unity of the country through inciting statements. The President gave the directive in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State during the 22nd and 23rd combined convocation of the University of Uyo, expressing concern over the issues of insecurity and divisions being touted in some parts of the country. Yemi Saka, as a public affairs analyst, and now joins us to talk on this. Many thanks for joining us, Yemi.
It's nice to be here once again.
Indeed. Where do we start from? The textbook definition of what hate speech are, or what the President considered to be insightful. Yeah, can we start with that?
Well, but if you want to go by the textbook definition or probably the dictionary definition of what hate speech is, or hate speech is, yes, a lot of people have run foul of it. Yes, a lot of people should be in the gulag, calling off their heels, accounting for their deeds. But yes, fine, it's a nice pronouncement if you want. As a commander-in-chief, you don't want the country to disintegrate under your watch. You're responsible for the sovereignty of Nigeria being intact. Somebody will say, somebody I fondly call my principal will tell you at every point in time, we measure the success of any government by keeping one Nigeria.
Well, if you measure the success of keeping the success of the country by keeping the country
success of any administration
by keeping the country as one, against the people's wish, against the fact that people are suffering, against the fact that people, we just listened to Monsignor Su, who talked about the lopsidedness in government's appointments and all of that. These are things that cause disaffection within the country. So how do you deal with that?
Probably you just given the perspective to launch out this topic because one thing should be clear. I think, from my personal opinion, I think Mr. President is confusing the call for restructuring for call for balkanization of Nigeria, and what the issues we've raised, will be addressed in restructuring. That's why some of us believe in restructuring. That's why some of us will tell you that we shouldn't be scared and held up to our old ways of doing things. Restructuring will not solve all our problems, like somebody, but it's definitely set us on the right track to resolve a lot of issues, like the one you've mentioned, fundamental issues. An instance is this. I know Brazil makes at least approximately $3 billion from banana exportation. Okay. Agriculture is a strong point for a region in Nigeria, and it's not regulated by the government, by the federal government. But as a governor of either Ekiti State or probably on those states, I cannot touch the solid minerals in my state because regulated by the government. So these are things we want to talk about with restructuring, address restructuring, not that we want to split Nigeria and seize geopolitical
zones. So we're back to the first question and ask, what is, in our own opinion, constitutes hate speech? Yeah. Now, you're linking it now. The President is asking the security operatives to fish out those who perpetrate this hate speech. And without a latitude or a proper definition of what constitutes the hate speech.
I think if I can recollect, definition of hate speech is when you attack somebody when it comes to his race, beliefs, or probably physical attributes. That's derogatory statement about such person. But so far so good. Both sides of the divide, has been guilty of hate speech is by their definition. And Nigeria is a seriously politically active state. When politics is coming out in the country, you see a lot of mudslinging back and forth. But to me, I don't think it should be hate speech or hate speeches. I think it should be things like treasonable acts. That's what the president should be looking at. And given the directive, I think he's relying on his constitutional powers. But I don't think at the convocation of UU should be where or such a platform or forum to say such a thing. Because
and given the antecedents of our security agencies in terms of human rights abuse and things like that, we've not really come clean to say, okay, our hands are really clean. Do you think they can handle this job properly and do it without trampling on people's rights? I
think it's like giving them a blanket cover to just go run riots. Because, and I don't think it's just like you telling your child that it's hungry to go and eat. If you're hungry, you know you should eat. The Constitution section 215 that talks about the establishment of the Nigerian police for spells out the duties of the Nigerian police. The Nigerian Police Act, I think amended 1999, section 4 of it spells out the duties of Nigerian police. The the National Security Agency Act, which covers the Directorate of Intelligence Agency, the National Security Agency and NIA and what have you spells out those functions of the agency. So they know their job. You don't need to teach them their jobs. It's there. I would probably celebrate this if you tell me that the president has sacked the IGP or has sacked the DG, DSS for not doing his job or not moving against these people. These are just political statements. We should stop celebrating things like this.
All right.
Because it's there. It's their phone. It's like you telling me to go and eat when I know I have to eat.
All right. The hate speech law, it's there. Are you confident that the security operatives would apply this law the way that it should be applied?
I doubt it.
Do we have hate speech in our lexicon, in our constitution? Is there anything like hate speech in Nigerian constitution?
Oh no.
Okay.
At least I'm not a lawyer, but I've been privileged to read that from the first schedule to the third schedule,
I'm
schedule.
wondering how they will apply the law that doesn't really exist now.
No, if it clashes with any provisions of the Constitution, definitely the law will stand, because if somebody can be able to prove that it's not a speech, it's just exercising fundamental human right, freedom of speech, association, and what have you, I think it's just a waste of time. You have to define, because it's relative. It's just like you measure morality. Where do you draw the line? We can cite instances of hate speeches. If that's the case, we could say hate speech or speeches brought this administration into power. There was a time a president was accused of being a kindergarten president. There was a time
the former president.
A former president, but then was accused of being a kindergarten president. It was accused of being clueless. I'm guilty of that as well. We said a lot of things, called him goats and what have you. So,
all right.
I don't know.
No security man sent after you.
All right, Yemi Saka, public affairs analyst. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
For coming to talk to us on this.